Did not give you warning as to me coming on, but I am very, late. Now, I'm going to do the Aries video, which I did say yesterday, but I haven't given you guys a heads up. I've had a very hectic morning. I'd like to give a big thank you to Jen for her very, very kind donation. You took me by surprise. I'm really telling you, you really did. And to Tracy as well. Thank you very much. A big shout out to you guys. You've been very loyal clients and family to me. Now, in the Aries video, because I will have to focus on my lovely Aries, as this is your video. Now, for January, you've got an interesting kind of energy coming through. Some of the energy obviously is coming through, and this has been coming through for all the zodiac signs, is that you've been meditating on a past tense event, as well as last year, which I'm stating it in terms of last year because we're doing a January reading. Hello. Now, Aries, you've had great forward movement. You have done a lot of soul healing. At times it has been aggressive healing. And when I say aggressive healing, it's people have looked at you and taken you the wrong way. What they don't understand is you've been doing some soul work. And at times it has come across as abrupt. But what they're not understanding is they're looking at you like you're God and you're perfect. You're human after all. But they're definitely either placing you on a pedestal or ripping you off that pedestal, so to speak, and really knocking your vibe of what you're trying to co-create. This has been a very testing energy in 2017 for you guys, and like I said in the other videos, what I'm going to try and do, because I did realise that the other videos were quite lengthy, is I'm going to give you the energies around what's going on. I'll do your money aspect, your family and your general, and then we'll get straight through to the singles and the couples. So in your general life of 2017, the reason this is being mentioned is because it was the foundation year. It was the Tower card event of your life to bring you to a place of a reality to co-create what you're really wanting in the future. Now, many of you would have been working on a business or something that you were working on. Many of you are working towards that if you hadn't already last year. Now, it was a very solo venture, so to speak, so a lot of what you were working towards was very, some people would have found it very selfish, at times really name-calling and, almost like jealousy connected to your progress. But you actually use work, and a lot of zodiac signs have been getting this through. Your work has been an aspect of your healing and an extension of yourself. So the reason I'm saying it's an extension of yourself, while other aspects and dynamics in your life you were unable to kind of get the ball rolling in that area, you were focusing very heavily on something. Now, this is either something monetary related, employment related, or an aspect of self that you were working on. While you were doing that, you're feeling there wasn't as much success. You're also at times looking at it as it equals who you are. You are more than your cash component. Although you are very good at manifesting it, it does come with extra burdens, unfortunately. And you're weighing up the pros and cons as to whether those burdens are equaling happiness to you. For some of you, you will be moving home in the new year. This was on your mind for a while. Some of you did move, but the big move as per se is definitely coming, I would say, in the new year. Some of it had been there in the back of your mind where you were manifesting it and thinking, well, should I, shouldn't I? And this could be a family home, for instance, or it could be something you're moving away from to greener pastures, so to speak. It may be that you are cutting people out of your life at this point, and if you haven't, it's definitely going to happen in the new year. I do feel that you're going to have a conversation with a group of people. Now, during this conversation with these people, it's going to provide you with an aspect of clarity. The clarity that you're going to get from it, it's almost healing old wounds, but at the same time, It's like you're just letting bygones be bygones. You're trying to just move away from it. You're understanding that a kind of connection with a family unit has changed, and it has been different for a very long time. It's just you're physically coming to that realization of what it physically is now, and how you're going to, you know, take on the next chapter of this new stage of life. Your family is misunderstanding who you are. Your family is thinking you do not value the aspect of family. They're misinterpreting it though. You're very, very loyal family members. You're very caring. Sometimes when you tell the truth connected to situations within the family is taking this very personally. Your third eye is really open. You're a very visual person. Sometimes you're super cautious about the way you directly kind of bring the language through to communicate with certain individuals. That's for a given reason. You're using your intuition connected to this, and you know that you have to address this situation in that manner. But no matter how you're addressing and tackling this dynamic, you're still getting the same outcome. You're going to look at it differently, because it's almost like you're that exhausted that you're going to remove your energy completely. Now, for some of you, you may walk away from certain family individuals, and this may be for a lengthy time, or it might be for a temporary point in time. It feels you're also removing your opinion and your objective thinking and looking at a scenario, because you're seeing, no matter what, it's an aspect they need to physically learn. There is one family member that is actually mirroring you. You do see eye to eye. You're very similar, but you do clash. They will learn, but they're going to learn the different way. You may have to tackle that situation completely differently, where you let them learn the hard way. You're wanting to save them in a sense, and I wouldn't say save them. You can see how it is, and you're going through something similar, or because your mindset is similar, you're trying to assist them. And don't get me wrong, I am feeling for many of them, they are actually physically coming to you with this burden and challenge, or, you know, looking up to you, like I said, like your God, and you can sort it. My best advice is let them learn. You cannot help them. They need to learn to address these issues that are deep set on their own. It's nothing really you can help them see. It's an aspect of learning they're needing to go through themselves. And it has been a very challenging energy with people around you and how they've been directly dealing with you. Now, you've had burdens and hurts from a past tense situation. For some of you, this is about a passed over loved one. And this has taken a toll, you know. This can just be someone that you had a falling out with, but I'm feeling for most of you this will be connected to either a separation or a passed over loved one. This has been challenging, and again, some people are taking offense as to how you're dealing with your life and your challenges, and how you're dealing with the energy directly. They're thinking it's like it never happened, and they don't like that. They're really wanting to pull information out of you, or push you to feel a certain way, because the 3D of what they're thinking you should think and feel, they're not visually seeing it, but they're not understanding it's buried deep inside. You've been trying to heal that aspect in a solo way, and at times through work, really keeping yourself busy, sometimes going into hermit mode, sometimes really, really being pushed to the brink where you're having to verbalize how you're directly feeling connected to situations. So then the people in that circle where these triggers are coming from are then misinterpreting why you're doing it in that way, but they're not understanding they're causing triggers in you, which is causing this dynamic. They need to let you deal with this in your own time, but I do feel there's a lesson connected to this in why it's happening. So try not to take the energy as per se personally. It is there for a given reason, and it's pushing you to own your power as to, you know, how maybe you can directly deal with these people and the emotions at hand. So if it's really being forced that it's got to come out, maybe it's time for that emotion to come out so you can directly deal with it. Maybe it's not healthy any longer for it to remain, you know, in that location. Now, I do see you second-guessing a business venture. It has been, now this could be work, it could be something you've been working on, and it can be something that is very successful and working and flowing very well. Now, for some of you, it may be a business you're physically selling. And it's not, I do feel you're too business-minded. Whatever you're in at a financial level, it may be you're swapping and going to something else, but it's because you're wanting the balance in 2018. I do see cash components for you guys being very positive. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I do feel it to be still very positive. And I do see items being sold in some shape or form. For some of you, this could be a house, it could be a car. Yeah, so in a way, business is boding well, but it's going to be in a more balanced kind of way. Because you are you're very driven when it comes to work. So January is the foundation, really, you know, where you're heading towards, and you had manifested a lot of this last year, 2017. But really firmly making those hard decisions, that's very much going to come through in January for you guys, where you're saying, I'm ready to do this. I've assessed the situation, and now I feel as though I'm ready to take the leap. Now, financially, family. Okay, you need to let things flow with the family. You need to come to a place where you let some of their issues just go, where you realise they're not your responsibility. No matter what age, you know, some dynamics, I mean, especially when we have young children, when we're intervening at all times, we're disabling, you know, and this is just an example. You can come to a place where you are preventing them from negotiating their differences. So for you personally, I feel you're going to look at the perspective connected to family very differently. And it is going to be an emotional time coming into January, because a lot of old things are going to come up. But I do see you, I do see your left eye very cross connected to one person and one given situation. And I do feel that given the right environment, I do feel you will give this person a piece of your mind. Be super careful and be aware of your emotions during that time. Also be aware of where this trigger's coming from, because this trigger is not a bad thing. Now, at the given point in time, I do feel it will be, but it's coming from somewhere. Purge it, because it needs to go. You do not want to, and it's not that you're going to be setting the tone for the new year, although I do feel it will be. It's more in a positive way. It's letting it go to the point where you're going to start moving forward on a fresh road and a fresh way of directly dealing with your family. Okay, family is not assisting you in feeling grounded right now, or a challenge in January is going to come about. Don't know what is going on energetically. Zap today, super low. Well, the super moon is coming. I am researching it further. But energetically, there is some changes going on, and it is, some people are getting unwell. That again is an aspect of purging. But definitely energetically speaking, if you're becoming more in tune, yeah, you will. I mean, I'm terrible with technology. Obviously, being psychic, I'm supercharged. Yeah, that does happen. When you're purging, you can become very unwell. It's because you're cleansing yourself, you know, of situations and getting ready for the 2018. Okay, a situation that's happening within family. Back to the reading. Okay, it's not the same as it was before. Although dynamics of it are going to look like, oh gosh, are we reliving the same cycle? You will not want in January this same cycle to revolve again, because an aspect of it can be toxic and is something you have completely outgrown. There are some home truths you're wanting to talk, but you're choosing the correct time, and you're definitely still sifting through information connected to how to address certain areas in life. Okay, in business, money, etc., you need to look beyond a situation to see the bigger picture at hand. So with business, as I was saying, two things are changing. You know, it's like you might have two options. If you're looking at a situation that you're wanting to jump into, you're going to need to look at the bigger picture before you make an assessment. Please read the fine print. Please look as to how not only is that going to be a success, but how you will balance yourself to bring it to that point of a success. Now, in an aspect of money, again, I did see for some of you, you'll be selling items, changing things up a bit, changing location, in order to keep that balance with everything that's going on. Don't stress in a sense of, you know, the bigger picture. Sometimes just having a broad view, the pieces will fall into the puzzle as they're supposed to. You know, you have the tools in order to make this happen. You are very strict when it comes to your ethics connected to money and work. You are a great manifester of it. But do not forget to keep balance, because ultimately speaking, you don't want to burn the candle at both ends. And you're great manifestors, but you also want to have the balance. And I do feel this year, it's not just going to be about money. Money will come to you and you'll have everything you physically need, but you do need to get that balance back, because it has been a great deal of work for you, either at an emotional level or a physical working environment level, where it's been too much work and not enough play. And I feel that is going to come back into balance. For some of you who haven't been working, that will be the direct opposite. But again, the suggestion is to keep it balanced, because you do want your health to be, you know, you want to have that health in order to actually enjoy this abundance that's coming to you. Some situation you were working on, you know, you weren't feeling directly attracted to it any longer. And, you know, if that's the case at a working level, a financial level, it might be that money is not attracting you anymore. And you haven't spoken your truth connected to this. This could be due to family members' opinions or a partner's opinion, and your health being impacted by it. But it does feel as though you're going to change it up and you're looking at the bigger picture of a situation. It can't just be all one way. Or for some of you are going to change the way you directly are dealing within a business, which may mean upsizing, changing a routine, changing the way you are doing what you're currently doing, and looking at it from an outsider's point of view instead of just the 3D of how you've been looking at it. Your general life, some aspect of your world is going to change. Some aspect of that you're feeling as though it's reached a cycle, and you're needing to move away from the situation. And again, this could be, you know, your friendships. It could be directly connected to family members, loved ones. You want your world to be different in January, and you're coming to a place where you're feeling the time is right, and you're not seeing the potential in a particular situation. Now, however, this could be a love interest. If you're single and you're investing or investigating a situation, this could physically be a love interest, and you're thinking, I've actually assessed it. This doesn't vibrationally connect with me. I don't feel an ill feeling connected to it. And for those of you who this is going to be relevant, it doesn't feel it's gone too far down the track. It's just you've reached that assessment and you're feeling it's just not for you, and that's fine. I do feel it will fizzle out very quickly. You're following your intuition connected to situations as well. And you know directly that your intuition has really served you very well in 2017, although at times you've taken situations very personally. And then that's been due to your fatigue and purging. And again, you're realizing that, you know, your energy is not limitless at times, and there is a point of no return with certain situations. So you're having this real awakening connected to what is acceptable and what isn't, and you're reassessing a situation. And again, I do feel this is in several areas of your life. This is your family. You're reassessing how you're communicating and dealing directly with them, and socializing with them as well as with work, the balance directly connected to that, and a home dynamic and a relationship. So it feels several areas, and it's going to be relevant how it directly fits in your life. Singles. So how are we all anyway while I'm shuffling? What time is it in your part of the world? I do feel some of you aren't actually talking to somebody at the minute because my throat chakra is gone. And I was fine this morning, apart from being very busy. Really? My readings go up to 11:30 at night. I do have to be super careful watching my schedule. 9:13. Hello, Seattle. So, how has the purging been for everyone? Because I sort of feel as though, yeah, speak your truth and be yourself. Don't feel that you've got to be anyone you're not. Some things like this are happening at the moment. What time is it for me? I think it's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Perth, WA time. I was going to try and get on earlier, but I had a very tight schedule this morning. Yeah, well, I usually do readings from 8 to 11 p.m. at night. And I think at one stage I didn't realise how many bookings I was going to get. I had 7 bookings and it was back to back, so I had to block certain parts of that kind of day out in order to survive that. I do group bookings in Perth, WA, and I can do up to 7 or 10, but I would need to kind of have a day off the next day to kind of purge or cleanse. Jan, you're too generous. I could shoot you. How have you been anyway? Yeah. Oh, look, me personally, I've definitely purged a lot probably in the last 3 months, and directly connected to, I'd say there's a learning in some aspects of relationships, and I do feel you reach cycles in situations, and this can be in family as well. And it's not that you don't hold love towards them, it's just you change, and sometimes you do need to branch off in order to grow and then to come back at the correct time. So, you know, that connection is always there, but sometimes it needs time to heal because you've got your own perspective connected to situations. So that's very much what's going on with me at the minute. You randomly woke up. You must be tapped into me, Jen, I'm telling you. Singles. What's going on with Aries singles? Oh, okay. I can see an individual around you who you had a connection with. And this person's still on your mind. Now, I do feel family members have an opinion as to what you should be doing in your love life, and it's impacting you. They're also micromanaging you to a degree and placing their opinion there. And you're thinking, look, I do value your opinion, but ultimately speaking, is this not my life? You're very private as well. Some aspects of your love life you're not wanting to share with certain people. You definitely are investigating and open to situations. But there is a person that they believe you should or shouldn't be with, and that's frustrating you. They're placing you in a box of what they think you should be doing, and it's just not working. Now, this could be a past tense energy, but for some of you, I'm feeling this is their direct opinion, even if they may not be speaking their truth connected to it. There is a person from your past who is thinking about you, and they may be on, you may be on their mind, and vice versa. There is movement in your love life though. And there's also a bit of gossip around it. Gosh, don't people like to talk about you guys? They're very interested in what you have going on. Okay, you've got to be careful of the opinion you have connected to yourself. you have a bit of a block connected to letting people in. And this is an energy in January, and it might be because you're assessing a situation, and it may have been that due to a past tense situation you had a financial loss, or emotionally you felt robbed, connected to love. The way you're approaching it is super cautious. You know, you're really assessing a situation. You want something to be a success. It could be that you did let something go by the wayside, as I said in the general part of the reading, is that you do not see a potential in one given situation. And you want something to be successful, and you'll only invest in it if you feel a vibe connected to, I feel this is going to go somewhere. So even if it might be you're casually dating someone, it directly feels as though you're still assessing a situation to see how it's going. You do have the courage, though, in order to actually move forward, and the tools to assess it. So maybe your intuition's very heightened in January, and that you're seeing a situation, but you know, you also can be digging your heels in connected to your opinion of what a relationship will be. And, you know, you're tired of directly connected to external people placing their opinions on you, that it's directly impacting your love life. You're almost shoving them aside, that's not going to happen. You do have an offer to make to someone, and it may just be physically that your heart chakra is open and ready. And I'd say by the 3rd week of January, you're more open to it. You will be very busy with work and different bits and pieces, but I feel it's going to be flowing more so by about the 3rd week, where you're right ready for that to happen. I do feel travel for you guys as well. Okay, whatever this is, and this could be a person from the past for some of you. Both of you are looking at an old situation the way it was. So it may be that an offer comes in January connected to a loved one who you had a connection to before. It may simply be that your energy moving forward into that month is considering this aspect of a love connection you both once had. Now, this energy of this person is still there. If it's not this direct person that's coming through to you, this person holds mannerisms that are similar to a person you had in the past, and it's causing triggers. Where you're having courage, there is going to be forward motion, and it will be with a person, okay? And it is going to be a change for the better. So there is a change directly connected to a person who's coming towards you. So initially you might feel no. Give it a little bit of time. Give it 1 to 2 weeks to assess the situation. Obviously your intuition's very heightened, so you will directly know if this is right or wrong for you. And that's really the advice that's coming through with the cards, is assess the situation. If it's triggering an aspect of a past tense event, or this physically is a past tense person, you're going to need to look at it from a different perspective. Realize it's a block, realize it's fear-based, assess it with the tools you experience from the past and in your life, and then make an assessment, because it does feel you will offer your heart. Now, they're really going to go over the top to impress you, and it might be that, you know, they were a little bit quiet before. They're different to you. They're wanting to play and have fun. And I think you like this aspect of them. They're different. They make you feel fresh. They definitely have a different kind of energy. Now, it could be New Year's that this offer comes through to you, and this is when this energy is coming through. Okay. Now, when it all came about, there was cruelty. Now, it could be from an ending, or it could be that both of you have come from a place of hurt, because this is the energy between you. Now, when you're going to have the courage and they're going to have a change in their life where it's getting better, you guys are going to be very open about your feelings connected to this situation when it comes about. Now, if this person hasn't physically come through, but there's someone you're thinking of, it could be for some of you a twin flame. And directly speaking, if this is a connection from the past that you're trying to co-create in the here and now, you may on the 5D, start having dreams about them. You may also start getting instincts, or their name might start popping up in your head. You might be feeling an aspect of them coming up in a point of a trigger. That generally means they're directly thinking about you at that given point in time. Be very careful about your thoughts and assess them while you're doing that, because I do feel information's coming through either directly from the person or a kind of a person whose energy is similar to a person you dealt with in the past, because it feels like two stories coming through. Okay, there's going to be gossip connected to this though. So it may be that people are saying, gosh, it didn't work before, why are you trying it now? The energy has changed. You directly will know intuitively whether you're willing to invest in this situation, and if in fact it has changed. We do change over the years. Directly coming into the month, you won't know whether to start something or end it. That's because you shouldn't. Don't start or end anything. Although if your intuition's telling you to do such, you will need to do that. You've got to adhere to your intuition and your feelings. But it's like you won't automatically make an assessment connected to anything straight away. Yes, they can look different. They can have the same vibe connected to an ex. They can also be the ex. And at times, sometimes when we are healing, we will actually have an event that happens in our life where, yes, at a degree, and especially for twins, at a degree, someone will come into our life if we're not vibrationally ready for our twin. That will be very similar to our twin. So we may experience healing at a safe level because we physically feel with the twin it would not be safe. So an aspect of that healing and purging and hurt will reoccur with a karmic in order to actually understand that at a safe level for that to be done. And then you would move forward at a later time and reconnect with your twin. And it's not that it's bounce. It's just that aspect of learning does come through a separate person. But not all of us are twins, apparently. But definitely the divine feminine and divine masculine energy will be relevant to both females and males. It's direct energy we're physically feeling on the 5D, every human being, I truly believe. So the videos will still be relevant for you as a female or male, depending on what energy is coming through for you at a given point in time. If you're having to really assert yourself at a way of doing something that comes very unnatural to you, you've taken on the masculine energy to be very assertive and very, very driven. That directly at that time, you will need to look at the divine masculine side of things to research that. I'm questioning it, yeah, okay, usually, and I'm going to do some information videos on twins separately. I have been doing some research and I have found that twins do start very much as they're coming closer to the connection. Your life will sort of mirror each other, and it might happen at massive separate intervals, you know, where similar situations happen. They are there for you to actually learn. They're an aspect your soul, before you came here, actually needed to learn that aspect. So I will be doing some information videos on synchronicities, you know, purging, ego, etc. I'm doing some research into it more and, you know, following my intuition, obviously, through my guides. And I will do some videos directly connected to it. Couples, what's going on for you guys? Okay. There doesn't have to be complete kind of mirroring, because definitely depending on what your soul's supposed to learn, you will find there can be opposites as well, because you're supposed to balance each other out to bring yourself to a higher kind of vibration. So you can be complete opposites but have to learn similar things. Couples. Okay, first thing that came through was a song in my head, and it was Should I Stay or Should I Go? And I don't know how that's directly related. We'll work it out. Yes, I love different spices. Anytime. I love spices. I really do. Thank you, Natalie. Yes, I've always been interested. To me, culture is an aspect of life as well as food. I think, you know, it's almost like Eat, Pray, Love. I love that movie. It speaks to me directly because, you know, as human beings, we grow and our connections are through food, especially being part European. I think there's a beautiful aspect of family connected to that, as well as a connection of sharing. So you have to love your food and appreciate it too. I've had aspects of that in my life too. And I'm sure this is relevant to... I have been vegan. I had been vegan for 3 years. I do prefer actual vegetarian food, but I do eat meat. So I've gone through phases of being a vegan. I do eat more healthy things than, you know, I do have that obviously because my blood requires it. I do get very low on iron, but I'm not a huge meat eater, no. And I'm sure Aries is really going to love that aspect in their reading, so I apologise. Okay, couples, Aries, you're being very balanced. You're assessing something. Also, there could be some external influence connected to your partner. Now, this could be something that you're healing where your partner might be from a separate relationship previously. This can also be that you're dealing with family dynamics and external situations which are impacting, or that they're undecided what they're doing at this point in time. But I do feel this is a past tense energy. I don't feel it's connected to cheating. I just feel something has happened in a sense where there is a dynamic of energy going on where your partner's energy is very different and dealing with an external situation. Now, in a sense of betrayal, it feels like they're too busy all the time, or they've got dramas going on. And I do see an unwell family member I'm being shown. So this card, you know, usually dictates something sinister going on, but the vibration of what I'm feeling at the moment is not that. Okay, you're going to get clarity connected to this. And you feel the energy's out of balance. Goodbye. Well, you don't have to.
He's out the front. I called him and I said I didn't want to go. You have to go.
I'm having a YouTube video with my daughter does not want to go to the beach. So she's very upset with me because I'm doing videos and I can't protect her. Do you want me to read your cards?
No, I just don't want to go.
Well, don't go. Oh, I love my life. Okay, so something's going on. Someone's not wanting... I know. Joy. Teenagers. It feels like your partner's giving energy to one area and the other one's, like you physically are looking at the situation and saying, well, I think you need to do a bit more work in this area. What are you doing here? Why aren't you being fair? So it could be an external person's being unfair connected to the relationship. You're wanting to be more free, and some aspect, like I said in your general part of the reading, you've been applying yourself deeply to work. You're finally physically making some time where you can have some fun and enjoy your partnership, and it feels like suddenly they're not available. And it might be a bit of an issue where they've placed their energy elsewhere and they're doing other things, and suddenly you're saying, I'm here, where's the time for us? They've got a very interesting energy going on. Okay, your partner is really up in their head at the minute. Now, it can be that they're very, they can be very verbally aggressive to you at the minute, in January, or they're just looking at a situation feeling it's unfair and imbalanced. But I feel it's a direct opinion connected to last year, not directly what is coming in January. It's a past tense energy and dynamics they're physically applying themselves to where it's impacting them. But they are feeling very unwell due to this situation. And it can be that they're dealing with a contract or a lawsuit or inheritance or some sense of burden, because it feels like an external situation. For some of your partners, it might be directly connected to work. It's burdening them. And emotionally speaking, they're vibrationally not themselves at the minute. And it's really causing them to feel very unhinged and ungrounded. It's like they feel very lost on this road. You're going to just get your head back and be doing the things that you're needing to do. You do have ambitions connected to this, but it's like your energy is doing something totally separate to what your partner's doing. You do feel overwhelmed and you're tired of the external dynamic directly impacting the relationship. But you are going to have a fresh start. It's going to be a way of looking at something, because you got this, which means you're going to have a miraculous idea connected to this. I'm going to pull some chakra cards. It's interesting. The feeling I'm getting is something's out of balance. There's interference externally. This can be family, because I do feel family has really been quite prominent in your reading. And I'm feeling as though they're impacting you. Your work is impacting you as well. You've seen the light, and if you haven't, you will be in January, where you're realizing something's got to change so that you can have that balance. And again, I do feel some of you will travel. For you personally, the connection intimately speaking with your partners is not completely there. It might be because internally you might be working, or you're dealing with conflict, so you're not feeling really that you can bond and connect at that kind of intimate level. You want to see changes and you're not seeing them. The solar plexus needs to be healed, or it will come into balance, and you're going to go back to the table and just be creative. And I feel it'll be back to focusing on your work, which is going to ground you. And during that process, I do feel you're going to gain clarity as to how to tackle this situation. I don't feel you two are enemies. I just feel you two are dealing with conflict in different ways. And you need to come up with a creative idea. And sometimes you need to let the universe intervene. So it might be that you need to physically ask the universe for support. Ask the universe. Some of the power is in your hands. Some of it is about divine timing. Okay. Something needs to be forgiven, but it hasn't been let go of yet. So however that's going to be relevant to you, you need to be aware of that. There is passion directly connected here, and it might be that there's passionate arguments, but there is passion I'm feeling. But it is feeling very lethargic because you're emotionally healing, both of you. There is attraction, so be careful. The laws of attraction are going to impact this situation. And, you know, romantically speaking, you're not going to be communicating at that level because you're directly dealing with a plan, either a plan or a situation, and how to resolve it so February comes through. Yeah, very true. It just feels healing and rebalancing. Does that make sense? Any questions for the Aries? Directly connected to the reading, any questions? No questions. Are we slow typers today? Some of you may be planning to get married. There might be altercations directly connected to it. Most welcome to book a twin flame reading. I'd love to have you. Okay, finances and career. It's like you're moving away from one cycle, doing something different, and going to apply it in a different way. Also, there is, for some of you in 2018, this doesn't have to be January, for some of you it might be where you're physically planning to take your relationship to the next level. Ironing out the surface of situations is going to take a little bit of time, but I do feel it's going to come. There is going to be an interaction that will get to that next level. Who this is with, you're going to know. And it can be that you're budgeting for a wedding or for an anniversary, or to move to the next level with a particular person. Now, even if it's on shaky ground, I feel a connection to a person. It doesn't have to be the person you're currently with, but I do feel energetically there is going to be a positive outcome connected to a deep connection you're going to have in 2018. And this situation is going to be worth waiting for. So it is going to come through. And those of you who are twins, I think Jen asked me the other day and I was a bit up in my head. When you're a twin, you will need to look at couples and singles because your energy is going to be a bit of both. You know, you're really going to have two energies. So it's a hard one. You're going to need to go between watching the twin flame videos to, you know, synchronistically, you're directly connected. Even if you're not in the partnership as per se with them, you can, if they're one zodiac sign, you can gain the perspective of what they're doing at a singular emotional level. And you can also gain perspective connected to what they're doing in their situation they're currently in, you know, within your situation with them dynamically. Otherwise, book a reading and I can tap directly into their energy. Really depends on what comes through. Most of the time I do feel with these bookings, if you're open, more information comes through. Now, you don't need to give any major information. I do directly tune on the day. I don't need, and half the time it's to your writing. Although I have noticed a few times when I've done live sessions on here and too many questions have come through, sometimes I've directly picked up other people's energy. So I'm more super aware of that now. Sorry, I'm reading. Yeah, so you can pick up their vibrations as well. But I will be doing twin flame videos soon. I'm just trying to really quickly get through all these zodiac signs for January. And then do the February one soon as well. Yes, major events can happen to twins. I know for me personally, my twin had dynamics happen in their life at a personal level, and I'm finding, and many years ago for them personally, and now ironically enough, I'm almost mirroring what they have had. So a lot of things that are happening in my life now is almost where they've already been. So, you know, at times you think you're ahead, and then you realize one twin will catch up to a degree, but mirror to the share point where you've got that direct understanding, compassion, and you do tend to, unfortunately, go through similar things. And some of them are very hard things. Definitely not a walk in the park. I mean, a lot of the videos do talk about this beautiful kind of reconnection, reunion. From my understanding, and, you know, with some of the real readers out there, what you'll find is the purging that you do in your lifetime and the growth is from that direct connection. Then directly after, what you'll find is the secondary stage of the growth will happen through the reconnection. So don't think for a minute that when you walk back into that situation, it's going to be a bed of roses. You're deeply content that you have the reconnection. But definitely you do a great deal of internal work and internal healing in dealing with, you know, kind of moving your issues away from what had happened before in the connection and with other people and situations. So you're not going into the situation without baggage, but you're learning to remove that baggage so that it can be that stable kind of foundation. That's what I find. Any other questions before I turn off and go to the next zodiac sign, which I haven't tuned into yet? So yeah, it's a very long process, but it's worth it. And you look, spiritually, it's worth it for yourself. I don't know what yes, I could do Taurus next. You're the first person to ask, so I'll do Taurus next. I'll just have a short break and I'll be back in about 5:10 and we'll do Taurus. So I will see you very shortly. That's okay. I'll tune into Taurus and I'll be back in a moment. Bye, guys.